Hi guys, welcome to another SLTV Wrestling Roundtable podcast. We are here as always. Today we're doing an Elimination Chamber review. Would say, yeah, reviewing
Yeah.
it, yeah. There's only me and Adam today, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. Callum is away on assignment again. He's a little jet setter, that guy, isn't he?
You're back
Tell
on the Gold Coast.
I'm telling you, it's everywhere. Here, there, and everywhere. Trying to get neighbours back on the air, isn't he?
Oh
Something
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
like
Setting up a GoFundMe.
that's what he's doing, yeah. Him and Carl Kennedy are
Yeah.
brainstorming. Yeah, man.
Where do we go next?
Yeah.
Bring back Toadfish. That's what I say.
But that's where it went downhill.
That's it.
Rubbish.
That's everything.
Already leaving. Telling you. Ruined
Done.
it.
Done for.
Yeah, we're doing Elimination Chamber review. We're gonna talk about the matches. We're gonna talk about any big events that happened whilst the show was going on. That
I don't
wasn't.
know if there was a big event that
I
happened
don't
while
think
the show
anything.
was going on. No.
I think it was just the matches, and then the matches happened, and then it just ended.
It went off. Yeah.
It went off.
Yeah, it went off. Yeah. The
Um,
ground has just about stopped rumbling since Saturday night.
so yeah, we're going to obviously talk about that big thing.
Mhm.
But as always, before we get into this, are you okay, Adam? What's
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really, really busy at the minute. Like, there's so much going on at the minute. Well, like, I was walking back over from the tram then, and I was thinking, it feels like Elimination Chamber was ages ago.
yeah,
The Oscars happened between then and now as well.
yeah, yeah.
Congrats to Sean Baker, first person to win four Oscars for the same film. Um,
How does that work? How's
so
that?
he won Best Editing because he edited the film.
Right,
Which is often the case with independent films, that the director will also edit the film as well. Sometimes they do it under a pseudonym, sometimes they don't.
right, okay.
So he went up and he accepted the award, and he did his sort of big speech and his big thank yous and all that kind of stuff. And he said, "Hey, like I don't know what that director was doing, but I had to save this film." Obviously, it's himself. And then he then won again for best original screenplay because he
Yes.
wrote the screenplay for the film. Then he won the award for Best Director. So then at that point, he's already got three. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because he's technically a producer on the film, when the film won Best Picture, he won another Oscar at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah. So he went on
That's
with
the
four
first
Oscars.
person to do that.
First person to do it.
You're not going to get many more people who are going to do that, are you?
No,
Surely,
no, no, no,
like,
no. Like you'll get your sort of screenplay, your director, and your producer credit. So like Nolan last year for Oppenheimer, he
yeah.
got director and producer because the film won Best Picture, but he was nominated for adapted screenplay, but he didn't win for adapted screenplay.
Ah, right.
Because I think that was American Fiction,
Yeah.
or that might have been original anyway. But yeah, so this Sean Baker and Nora swept the board with the four, and then Mikey Madison won for Best Actress as well. So it was a good night for Honora, which is a very
You,
good film.
do you agree with the Mikey Madison thing?
Yeah, she was really good in it. Obviously,
Yeah.
people were aiming more towards Demi Moore for the substance,
I thought,
which I get, and I totally understand why.
yeah,
It was always a Demi Moore. It was always a Demi Moore and Mikey Madison race,
yeah.
essentially. Even
And
more so when Mikey Madison won the BAFTA, because that sort of separated it out a little bit.
yeah. Do you think Timothy Chalamet should have won
It was
Best?
always an Adrian Brody thing. It was always that he was winning everything.
Yeah.
And then Timothy Chalamet won the Independent Spirit Award. So that was the one sort of like sparring the work type thing.
Well, I think it's not that this is about movies and that, but just while we're here talking, I seen a lot of people being like, he did a lot more to for that film,
Yeah, well, the
like
the
get
assumption
into
is
that
obviously,
situation.
he had to get into the character. He had to do the sort of he did the singing, and he had to do the accent as well, because this is
Yeah.
something that I didn't realize and had gone over my head a little bit. But yesterday when I had my year 12s, Kira, one of my students, said, "What do you think about the use of AI in the Brutalist?" And I said, "Well, I've not seen the Brutalist, so I don't know where it
Yeah.
is that they've used AI." And she said, "Oh, they've used it for Adrian Brody's accent." Because
Yeah, I didn't
apparently,
know that. Yeah.
yeah, so for 3 minutes of the film, they tweaked his accent using AI so that it sounded right and it sounded correct. So then I was like, well, at that point, then I don't agree that he's won Best Actor because if you can't do it all, if you can't
Yeah, yeah,
get
that's
it
fair.
right while you're filming, but then you also then can't get it right when you go back in and do ADR afterwards, to
Yeah,
the point where they have to then put AI to it and make and correct it. I
yeah.
think that's yeah,
It's a bit
I think he
moody.
should be marked down for that.
Yeah,
You know,
marked down.
he won't be getting a grade 9 from me.
Okay, that's good. I
Yeah.
just wondered because like, have you done an Oscars episode?
No, I don't know what it is. So like I did my sort of Golden Globe nomination reactions and then last year I did a big thing of like Oscar predictions.
Yeah, yeah,
I think in the whole time that I've been doing it, I've done a nominations and reaction predictions and reactions for every award ceremony,
yeah.
just not all in the same year.
All
I
right,
don't know
okay.
why. Yeah, I don't
It's too much. It's too
like
much.
even after when the Oscars happened, part of me was like, should I do a video about this?
Yeah,
But then I think I'd literally just done a revision video over the weekend, so I was like, nah,
yeah, like
no,
it.
not the right time.
Surely the Oscars is the one, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
like,
this is what I mean. I don't know why I decided just to
yeah.
focus on the Golden Globe. It was because I was home at the time when the Golden Globes were being announced, and I was like, get on this.
All right, okay. So you
Yeah,
were like,
yeah.
that's on its tail. So you were like,
Grabbing the
yeah,
zeitgeist. Yeah,
yeah, right. I get you. Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
It's
like,
like we should have really done this on Sunday to be like, oh my God, John Cena. Like,
well,
not
you
that we're
know,
all Canadian, but
we've had time to let it all settle down, though. We've had
yeah,
time
yeah,
to think about it.
yeah, yeah,
You know, and another one of my year 12s, Alfie, said to me on Tuesday morning, he went, Adam, I'm not happy. I was like, why? And he went, well, everything fell apart on Saturday night. And I was like, I know, Alf, it's all right. Don't
No,
worry.
it's okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
As I say, this isn't a film podcast. I'll plug it here. I'll do this. But Adam, our resident guy over here, our teacher, here he is over this side.
Here
Not
he
the
is.
Yeah, the guy with the glasses.
Yeah.
We look alike, but he wears glasses. Um, as a film podcast, so follow Fargo Film. If you want any Oscar things, that's not on there,
No,
unfortunately.
it's not. No.
Stuff
I'm
is.
about to go and do a lot of coverage for the Manchester International Film
Well, that's
Festival
even better.
starting next week.
Like
So
right
yeah.
there. Like you're in the mix there, aren't you, as well? It's not like
I mean, I'm going around, I'm seeing all
yeah,
the stuff. I don't think I'm interviewing anybody unless something comes up, and I
yeah.
can do. But going watching a good few films that I'm really intrigued by. But
Okay.
it's one of those things where it always falls around about my birthday, and then
Yeah,
obviously I'm teaching as well. So it's like I don't want to, I can't go and see everything.
yeah.
Can't, just don't have the time. So I'm going watching the gala opening, which is the new Steve Coogan film called The Penguin Lessons or Penguin Sessions.
Love Steve Coogan.
Um,
Love.
and that's in the new Aviva studio space rather than at the cinema. So that's
All right.
intriguing to go and do
Yeah.
that. And then I'm going watching a couple of other things as well. There's a film called Stealing Pulp Fiction that I'm looking forward to about a group of people who try and steal Quentin Tarantino's personal print of Pulp Fiction. And I was like,
Right.
I'm all in for that.
I'm in for
That sounds
that.
really good.
I'm in.
Yeah.
Um, right. Before we move on, are we gonna go and see Queen of the Ring?
Yeah. When does it come out over here? Do we
I
know?
don't know, but it's gotta come out over here at some point.
Yeah. I'll give
If
it a
we,
Google. We'll have
yeah.
to go and watch The Smashing Machine as well.
Yes. Yes.
Because if The Rock gets his Oscar nomination,
I
which some
mean,
people are sort of going, hmm,
I'm not so sure.
or if it goes the same way as Zac Efron for Iron Claw,
Does it fall into that weird grey area of time?
possibly. It depends on the release. Yeah, possibly.
I hate that. I hate that. Zac Efron
Uh,
deserved an Oscar. Not even joking.
oh, he did, 100%.
100. Anyway, Elimination Chamber. Uh,
Elimination.
as always, three-word review. You got one?
Uh, shit went down.
Shit went down. Yeah. Um, I right. I am gonna take my three-word review is from way before, not way before the end, but before the end, and I am gonna say that hug though, because
Hmm.
like when okay, so before shit went down,
Yeah.
when Cena and Punk were in the ring, and he went to shake his hand, and he gave him a hug.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
Punk was just like, nah, mate,
Yeah,
we're not at that point. We're not shaking hands.
yeah,
We've both elevated each other's careers at the points where we needed
yeah.
it.
Even to the point where when he was getting in the ring, they were like, "Oh, I've missed you," and he
Missed
was
you,
like,
mate.
"I missed you too. I missed you." Like that's just nice, isn't it? It's just nice.
14 years ago, they faced at Money in the Bank.
Bananas.
Absolute dis.
Brilliant.
I teach kids younger than that.
That's insane. My super early prediction is that this year's Money in the Bank, they're gonna face each other again.
Oh,
I think Money in the Bank is the perfect place to have heel Cena and face Punk.
I mean, what world are we living in? Like,
I'm
what's
telling you.
what's happening there?
I'm telling you. I am telling you. Right. First match, the women's elimination chamber.
Hmm.
I haven't actually got a card here, by the way. I just know
Well,
that.
I mean, there's only four matches, and you've got the first one right. So,
There you go. Women's
what
elimination.
are the way there?
Obviously, I've been saying for weeks that Naomi did this. Naomi attacked you.
Hmm?
Naomi attacked her. It's definitely Naomi. Blah, 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 blah. It's not Liv. Blah, 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 blah. Like that. Jay came out
Hmm.
looking like extra ripped, which I don't even think was a thing.
Oh yeah.
Like she looked like gigantic.
Hmm.
Came out. Liv was like, oh my God, it wasn't me. Naomi got absolutely biffed in the face.
100%.
Like 100% biffed. Remember shouting that at all in. That
Yeah.
biffed the man in the
Biffed it,
face.
man. Everyone's Mars getting biffed.
Just biffed the man in the face. What the
Not a euphemism.
man? Yeah. Was you like thoughts on this? Was this a good
I
thing?
mean, it was really well done. The beatdown was really, really well done.
Yeah.
I think, I suppose, for context, first of all, because again, I've been on this podcast before, and I've mentioned my gripes with opening my phone and seeing things and not wanting to do that and all this kind of stuff. But then I was mentioning to you off podcast that I'm currently possibly on the arse end of insomnia, for whatever reason. So when I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning,
Yeah.
I think part of me must have just gone, well, I'll just have a look at Elimination Chamber because like I think somewhere in my mind I was like, I don't think anything big's gonna have happened.
The only
Uh,
chamber. Like the
it's
all.
only I was just like, I'll know who the number one contenders are,
Yeah,
but I'll
yeah.
still enjoy watching the matches later. And then that was when I managed to fucking everything, you know.
Not like that's gonna
Um,
happen 40 days before WrestleMania. They
I
wait.
know. I was like, what? Um, so yeah, so like I kind of seen that obviously Jade came back, um, but then I had this weird thing of like I saw Liv Morgan and I saw Naomi and I saw Bianca and they were the only people in the match that I saw, right? And part
Yeah.
of me was like, oh, did they send out like a white gear memo that everyone needs to wear like white gear? And then so I
Oh
saw
my
like Roxanne afterwards and I was like, no, that's not happening. Um, But yeah, like Jade coming out absolutely pummeling her, and then like it was the right thing to do. The Naomi's been eliminated, like not the thing of Liv getting a cheap win, although that would have worked as well because Liv's the heel and stuff. But just eliminating her straight away, just eliminating her from the match straight off, I think was the right thing to do. I'm still intrigued by this in that we've not heard from Jade yet on Raw. We've not heard anything from Naomi yet.
Yeah.
I'm still intrigued as to whether or not it is actually Naomi that did it, or whether or not Bianca has somehow managed to frame Naomi for doing it.
I think Naomi and Bianca did it, I would say.
Okay.
Obviously, it looks like, oh, I mean, obviously, we're not talking predictions or whatever, but I would assume Jade versus Naomi at
Well,
WrestleMania.
that's quite interesting to me that they were going to go for that as a sort of singles match.
Yeah.
If they
Yeah.
if they do, like Sam texted me and sort of said like, do you reckon it's going to be a fatal four way with them
Yeah.
all going for the title? And I was like, I don't. I feel like that'd end up being a separate thing because
Yeah.
then obviously big things happened with the women's title on Raw that I didn't expect.
No,
You know,
that was a shocker too.
uh,
Um, yeah, I think that I did go with a singles match, but then I don't know, in certain, that's the thing. It's like, so you've already got, so going off what happened on Raw as well. So Io Sky is now the champ. We've got Bianca as the number one contender. The assumption to me would be Rhea's going to shoehorn into that, and it's going to be a triple threat. That's
Hmm.
what I would
Hmm.
assume.
And
Uh,
back in the day, we could have gone down the route of a she's entitled to a rematch, but they've
yes,
moved away from that
yeah,
massively.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So it
don't
does,
know how it's going to work,
yeah.
you know.
It will be interesting. And to be honest, all it takes is EO being like, "I want you in the match," because Rhea was like,
Yeah, that'd
"I
be a
want
really good thing
to
to do. Yeah.
have a title match after Elimination Chamber," so she could be like, "Well, I want you in there." Do you know what I mean? Because I can beat you both. Like it's all good.
Mhm.
So that wouldn't be a shock, I don't think. But then to put Naomi in it as well and Jade, I think that's too much story.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're going to get to sort of match card predictions later for Mania, but I've got Rhea, Io, and Bianca down.
Yeah, I would assume that's the way they're going. But
Yeah.
and then in the singles match, it would have been interesting if they were going that way. That Naomi was in a pod and Jade came out, absolutely biffed her everywhere, and then just got in a pod
Yeah.
and won the thing.
Yeah.
In that case, then she'd win it. She'd be the number one contender. So she would essentially be like, I'm the number one contender, but I've got beef with Naomi.
Hmm.
Naomi's like, I've got beef with you. So then she'd get incorporated into it, and then Bianca will be like, well, actually, it was all me anyway. So,
Yeah. Because
uh,
then at that point, even if you manage to add in like if Io then still beat Rhea, you've then
yeah,
got five women in the
yeah,
So clearly, I mean, obviously they've got a plan, haven't they? They know
yeah,
what the
yeah.
sort of end point is.
I can't see that being
No, no, I feel like you're probably going to end up with a singles match and then the triple threat for the women's
and,
title.
and another an extra women's match
Hmm.
on one night. Never a bad thing.
No, no, no.
Like these
Like the way that
always,
I've got it later when we do it is I think I've got two on both nights.
yeah. See that's what you
Yeah.
kind of yeah. That's what you want. Shout out to Liv in this match.
Liv was the MVP of the whole night.
Up like 100%. She is
Like,
anyway. Like
yeah,
even as I assume you didn't watch the press conference,
no,
right? So I watched the press conference, just because I like to see Triple H. If I'm honest with you, that's all that I'll be honest with you. I just like to see him and know that he's all right and that. But yeah, he came out and was like, "It's amazing." He was like, "I want to give props to Liv because." Like 12 months ago, 18 months ago, she was like what you call a good hand.
yeah.
Like she was good to have on the roster. She was here and there. She did the thing. And in the last 12 months, she's like become an absolute superstar. And she absolutely has. Like
Hmm.
she's like Air and Rhea are like the main two women
Yeah.
on Raw. Like Rhea's number one women's heel and number one women's face, and she's number one heel. Like, and I'll be honest, I've never seen that coming. Like,
To a point where I think it's quite. I mean, sad's a bad way of looking at it, but that she's going to end up in a multi-woman tag match at
yeah,
Mania, it
yeah,
looks like.
yeah,
But I suppose that is almost a way of again doing the God's work of trying to elevate these bloody women's tag titles.
yes, yeah. I
You
think
know.
that's. I'll be on. I think if anyone can do it, probably not Raquel because she annoys me, but
But I mean, the whole Liv and Raquel thing is that sort of quintessential Michael's Diesel thing, isn't it?
yeah, it is, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the plastic glasses on here that Raquel keeps wearing, they're 90s glasses if I've ever
Yeah.
seen them in my life. Do you know what I mean? Like that's two chicks with attitude in it, rather than two dudes with
There you
attitude.
go.
But yeah, it's I don't know who they're gonna face outside of the. I don't know if there's a lot. Like,
I've bunched a few together.
yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say there isn't a lot of like tag team, but then
There's one that I've had to shoehorn in
yeah, I can
just so
imagine.
that two people get on the card.
Yeah, I can imagine. Um, but
The
yeah,
almighty her whip.
oh, that was like, see, so the thing about this, right? I've been trying to work out how they did this to be so loud. Do you reckon it was just Like microphones on the top of the thing, and they knew they
Well,
were.
Amy said to me, has she got like a whip inside her? And I was like, I don't think that's how they've done it. To me, I think what they've done is they've treated the end of it so that it's probably quite layered up. They've
Yeah,
probably put something on it that has sort of, I don't know, like made it stick together, but then maybe weighted it slightly.
like a wax or something.
Yeah, but then I think the you probably still got microphones.
Yeah,
Yeah. Because I tell you what, I mean, slight side note, but that thing that they've started doing where you can watch it in a different space and it looks like you're actually at the event
yes,
looks really good. Like, how are you
yes,
managing that?
yes.
But
So it look. I only seen that little tiny clip that they
mm,
showed on the show, and it looks like there's just a camera in one corner
yeah,
inside the cell, inside the chamber,
hmm
and then you've got the actual monitors.
yeah.
But yeah, that look cool that
So
way.
then you've managed to get cameras in to do that. So yeah, microphones to accentuate the sound of the
Yeah.
hair whip isn't going to
But
be.
then obviously they've got to not talk too
Yeah,
much
yeah, yeah.
because you can hear them. But yeah, that was
Absolutely.
a move.
Like the whole sort of closing stretch of the match with Alexa, Liv, and Bianca was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought Roxanne had a really good showing as well.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
The
know,
whole thing, the whole thing was really, really well
yeah,
put.
yeah. I mean, like if I'm being honest, because I've still not kind of landed on a rating for my men's chamber match. I think this might have been my favorite match of the night
Yeah,
because I feel like the difference that we're getting now with men's matches like this is it happened with a Rumble. Like the men's ones tend to be more story orientated in
yeah,
that I feel like the chamber match for the men's was more to do with a that person linking with that person, and then it almost in parts felt slower.
yeah.
Whereas the women's matches, the Rumble and the Chamber, were much more sort of not necessarily spot festy, but it was all about the action. It was all about the
Mm.
moves and everything else, and the sort of like balls to the wall. Let's just make this the best we can make it, you know. So for that, I think for that reason, I enjoyed it more than I did for the men's.
Yeah. Well, this is the highest. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're right about the men's. It's a weird one to kind of rate, but this is probably my favorite women's chamber.
Yeah,
I would say
yeah, I think that's fair.
this is the best women's
Yeah,
chamber. I would say. This is why I keep saying about like people coming back and stuff like that, and like the whole Nikki thing coming back. Like, imagine Nikki in there.
yeah,
Like, I feel like she'd be out of her depth
yeah.
in that situation because it's just like the caliber of,
It's
yeah,
And then by
it's,
proxy, everyone that you're training, so someone like a Roxanne, is
yeah,
having to meet that and then try and best it as
yeah,
well.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be like not taking away any just because Nikki came back at the Rumble and she's obviously mentioned wanting to have a run and all that stuff.
yeah,
And I'm not taking anything away from her because she's good, but it's just apples and oranges from 10 years ago. Do you know what I
mhm,
mean? Like, and I know it kind of shouldn't be, but it really is. Like, it's just like it's not one of them things where it's like it's a women's match anymore. It's just a match. Like,
yeah.
you don't think, oh, they're in the chamber. What are you doing here? Like, now it's everybody is like on another level. Do you know what I
Because
mean?
like part of me would even question like a Trish or a Lita being in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like I don't think their style would work with it. Like obviously we know that Trish has had the run recently, and obviously she's got a match on this card and all that kind of stuff. But I was trying to think of like other people who if they did want to come back and do a run in a similar vein to like a Nikki Bella,
yeah,
like could they last in that scenario? And we've always said that like AJ Lee was ahead of her time
yeah.
and that she was the sort of the evolution before the evolution came. So you can sort of see that happening. But then like if you were to go all the way back, like Tori Wilson ain't stepping into the chamber, is she? Like, and stuff like that. So yeah.
That's the thing is like it's what it's, I don't it's even the Rumble like you think the first Rumble they didn't have enough women to have on it so they had all these like legends and like former divas and all stuff like that but now you don't need it like the amount of people they've got on the roster who can hold their own
hmm
is is a lot you know what I mean
Yeah.
so, um But yeah, what rating did you give it?
I gave it 4.5.
Me too, and so
Hmm.
did Callum.
Yeah,
We all give it 4.5.
really good.
Solid, solid, solid match.
Yeah.
Trish and Tiffany, yeah,
Yeah, so Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton versus Candice LeRae and Nia Jax. All I've put here is did exactly what it needed to do. Showcase for Tiffany and getting the rub from Trish. You know,
yeah,
Trish back in front of a Canadian crowd,
mhm,
in a match, giving the sort of the stamp of approval on the newest sort of champion on the block at that point.
mhm.
Um, Nia and Candice doing everything that they needed to do as heels. Um, I was surprised that it was Nia that took the pinfall. I
Yeah,
thought
me
that
too.
Candice was in there as a bit of fodder type thing. I feel like they're a team that would end up in this multi-man or this multi-person
Yeah,
tag match. I feel like Candice and Nia are, prime for being in a tag team title match
yeah.
at Mania, especially. But yeah, I thought it was fine. Like, I think it was that sort of in the right place after the women's chamber,
Mm.
did the job that it needed to do.
I think you're right. Like it's one of them. It's mad, right? And I don't. This is gonna sound awful, and I don't really know how else to say it. But Candice LeRae should be such a a bigger deal than she is.
It's a weird one, isn't it?
Yeah, like
In I,
even
I feel like she's almost like a Natalia at this point.
yeah, like she. It's weird, right? So Nia Jax has already said that she wanted to bring Candice LeRae into this like situation because she was like she's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Like I'm
Yeah.
gonna learn so much from her. Like why wouldn't you want to be traveling with her and be on screen with her and like be in the ring with her and stuff like that? Like she's amazing. And on the Indies, she was like next level. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was insane. She was like a
Having
proper.
death matches against people and
She was a proper indie darling. Like when she
mm,
came to the company, it was like all these people who've been watching and these were like, oh my God, this is amazing.
yeah.
It's kind of like she hasn't done anything. It's weird. Like, and I don't, I don't know how somebody with the hair color that she's got and the way she presents herself can be so bland. And I know that's not her fault,
Yeah.
but
I
there's
think the
nothing.
character thing's always weird in that like I don't really remember her as a face.
Yeah,
I remember her more as that sort of poison pixie thing.
yeah.
And
I've
like
seen
in
a bit of the way, but
being in the
that's
way with
yeah,
Indie and yeah, yeah. Whereas this is almost like it's weird in that like we were talking about Raquel and Liv before, and that the idea of that is that obviously the bigger star, the bigger sort of wrestler in terms of stance and stature is that what you'd refer to as a heater. Well,
yeah,
like the but then I feel like it's like an opposite thing here in that like realistically. Naya's not working as the heater. Naya's working as the sort of star, and then Candice is on the side. But then it doesn't really work that someone smaller in stature would be the heater.
yeah. It's just, but it should work in
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah,
it shouldn't be just because of the stature, I suppose, as you just put it. It shouldn't that
yeah,
shouldn't really make a difference, but it kind of does in this situation, which is
yeah.
weird. Like I can't really place where she should or shouldn't be. Like, but then is she still speed champion?
Possibly.
I
Don't
don't
know.
know if she's. I don't watch it, so.
I don't even know who the men's speed champion is. Let's
No,
have a look.
no, no idea. She was speed champion, but you know.
I remember, yeah, winning it.
It's still got it's still on, like it's still a thing.
WWE speed.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Uh, Pete Dunne with his producer credit there. Yeah, she is. Yeah,
is she
yeah. And Dragon Lee is the men's.
random? Very random.
Yeah.
Random that they're not on telly. Like they don't have them on telly.
I mean, like Candice LeRae defeated Io Sky in the tournament final to become the inaugural champion. In a storyline, that gets you a world title shot on it,
Yeah. So what's going on?
but then they're just not acknowledging it because it's a Twitter thing.
Ah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but she should be doing more. That's all I'm saying. Like, she's not. She's obviously on the other side of her career now. So realistically, if they've got to do something or not do something, and it looks like they're not going to do something, and she's just going to be, in Triple H's words, a good hand. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I don't know. It's just a bit of a mad one. Like, I don't know. Anyway, rating. I haven't got Callum's rating. Callum gave
Uh, I give it a 3.
Callum gave it three as well. I will give it. I'll give it three just because it's nice to see Trish. Uh, so it is nice to see Trish. How the hell she's become like this fantastically amazing generational talent as a wrestler is
Yeah.
beyond me because she was having gravy bowl matches when she was the champ.
She
And
started out by not even knowing how to do it, and then
yeah, that's
yeah,
it. So it's mad that it's now she's better now than she was
yeah.
in her original run.
Hmm.
Like it's absolutely bananas. Whatever. Um, Sami Zayn versus Kevin
Well,
Owens.
before that,
Oh,
there
go
was
on.
there was like a vignette thing for The Rock. There was a big sort of like Rock thing,
All
right?
right, okay.
So I wrote down, I'm glad that The Rock's leaning into the heel character because the propaganda in the middle of the show was up there with some of the most self-aggrandizing stuff I've ever seen.
I don't remember this mad promo.
It was just like little, like a whole thing of like, this is The Rock, this is what The Rock does. And it was like, it was even like trying to hype up the fact that Red One was like the most watched thing on
Oh yeah, I
Amazon
do
Prime
remember
when it
that.
landed on Amazon Prime. It's like, it landed on Amazon Prime within 4 weeks of being released because it bombed in the cinemas.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you know,
I remember
let's
that.
call a spade here.
Yeah,
Right?
talking about Moana being a $1 billion and all that.
Yeah, and then like he's got his cousin in Hobbs and Shaw, and he's he's done this thing for this person, and yeah,
It's one of them, innit? It's just
bit of
like
young rock, and yeah,
even with the other. So when he was cutting a promo again, when he originally asked Cody for his soul,
yeah,
so in that promo, the guy who owns TKO, I can't think of his name.
Ari Emanuel,
Ari Emanuel,
yeah,
right? So he mentions Ari Emanuel. This is just how bizarre the Rock's brain works. Like this is so sort of like such a passive aggressive comment. Like, but he was like, yeah, yeah. So I was talking to him. He was on the put me on the board and of WWE, and we were talking to him, and he was saying like he owns TKO, and he was like, yeah, yeah, but Ari Emanuel said, well, you own WWE, and he was like, well, I don't know about that. But maybe, and it's just like, what?
no, no,
Like, what? It's such like
yeah,
it's like such a weird, like it's one of them things where it reminds me of like, when you've got a kid and like the nan talks about like how much the kid loves them. Oh yeah, the
yeah,
kid. Oh yeah, your daughter was saying that like I'm a favorite and like she wants to come and live here and that, and you know what I mean? You're just like, she didn't know, did she?
yeah,
What are you on
no,
about? Like, but that's what it felt like when he said it. I was like, he was like, oh, WWE's yours, like that. And he was like, oh, I'm not so sure about that. And it's just like, shut up, you balloon. What are you on about? Like,
it's so like
what are you chatting?
wanky at the minute. It's like,
Yeah, it's all like,
oh.
what? Like, what the
It's just
hell?
it's the
But,
fact that he managed to turn himself into a meme with that like behind the curtain WrestleMania thing where he was like, "So I had this idea."
yeah, yeah,
You're like, "Fuck
yeah,
off!" No, he didn't.
yeah. And I told Hogan to slam Andre.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's like,
the
but then
rest
like
is
I can just see
history.
him sort of going, and then it all became full circle. Like,
Yeah. It's like,
get
get
out,
a
man.
grip, man. What are you doing? Jesus. But to be
Oh.
fair, in recent years, his film career hasn't really been that good. Realistically,
That's why he's back here.
he's had pure bombs. Like
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Right. Anyway,
Kevin and Sammy.
Jesus. Yeah, unsanctioned Kevin and Sammy.
Brutal.
This was rough.
I
Like,
mean, one of the first things I wrote down was it reminded me of Tate and Jacobs.
yes, very much so.
Yeah.
And I only found out that the chair wasn't gimmicked.
Yeah.
Like that seems a lot.
But then the sort of the nondescript through the recommendation or the request of one talent. That was
Yeah.
all it said.
Yeah,
Well, that was Kevin then, weren't it?
yeah, yeah. Kev was like, if I'm button that, I'm button it, and if we
Don't
get
shake them
busted
things
up,
down.
yeah, yeah, like
Stick them
that's
in my
it.
side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was it, the thing about these two, right? So the match was amazing, as you would expect, because Kevin Owens doesn't have a bad match,
Hmm.
and Sami Zayn, although we're a bit about him at the minute, he doesn't really have a bad match. It's just the
Yeah.
idea of his gimmick is a bit like, ugh, like I'm still an underdog. Oh. Shut up,
Mm,
like shut up.
yeah.
Um, so I knew the match would be good, but I wasn't expecting them to go as far as they did. I think
Yeah.
I was kind
I
of
think we
shocked.
expected those sort of like standard Kevin Owens in the no DQ match stuff where it was like the half and half suplex into a chair,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fisherman buster into a chair, stuff
yeah,
like that, you know.
yeah.
Um, the barbed wire chair, I was surprised at. Didn't expect to see that, you know.
Yes. The only thing that
Um,
annoyed me about that barbed wire chair is that they made no reference to the fact that Sami Zayn was looking for something and then was like shocked when he seen it. And he didn't
yeah,
say, well, he's seen something that he didn't put
he's
there.
seen something that he didn't put under
Yeah,
the
and
ring.
then
Yeah,
Kev wasn't like, "And that's mine. Like, what are you doing?" Like,
yeah,
that's what should have happened. He was like, "What the? Why is it? What's this?" And Kev being
yeah.
like, "Eh." You know what I mean?
What did you
Like,
expect, bitch?
yeah, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
there was no reference to that, and I think that was the only thing, not the only thing that was missing, but that was a little bit like, it's a missed opportunity there.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like you always want that thing to be like
At
to
least
mention,
referenced, at
yeah,
least sort of to add a little bit more to the match. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, all it didn't feel like a massive one spot to the next spot, which I liked.
No, it didn't. But then I do think there was possibly, again, similar to the Tate and Jacobs match, one near fall too many.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
And do you know what though? I seen that, and when I think it was like the third. What after he did something, it was possibly when he buttered the chair.
yeah.
I think, and as soon as he kicked out of that, because that was near the end, wasn't it? Because then he
It was
got
a Boy Thunderbomb, weren't it?
yeah,
In
yeah.
yeah,
So when he like buttered the chair and he think he done quite quick, and he kicked out, I was like, yeah, that's gonna get mentioned. Like,
yeah.
I was gonna be like,
I was like, it's too much. Because then, but then for him to miraculously recover and then still manage to beat him and
yeah,
powerbomb him into the apron as many times as they did, you know.
yeah,
I mean, I know the whole thing with Kevin and Sammy is that one minute they can be tag team partners and tag team champions, and then the next minute they can be enemies and stuff like that. I do feel like, for whatever reason, this specific program has been so, it's had such a quick turnaround
100%. Yeah, yeah,
in that, like, we've gone from obviously Kevin being a bit crazy and a bit senile with Cody and going for the title and carrying around the winged eagle and doing all that kind of stuff, but
yeah,
then feeling like you needed to insert Sammy into the end of the Cody match with the ladders
mm,
at Rumble to then have Kevin on his ass come back and attack Sammy to then get us to this match, but then this match then to get us to an Orton match at Mania.
yeah,
Like it feels weird. It
yeah,
feels like if you're going to do a Sammy Kevin program, like are you relying too much on the sort of history of us knowing that they can go back and forth at this point? Or is it just that you didn't really have anything for either of them to do, so you were just like, right, well, we'll just do this at
yeah.
Chamber, you know?
Seems a bit of a bit of a shame to have a blow off like that.
It's because I feel like we got to a point where them to eventually, you know, the build up to their match against the Usos,
Yeah,
it was such a big thing to see them like Hogan and all that kind of stuff. Whereas I don't feel like it didn't feel as big for Kevin to attack Sammy.
no,
It didn't feel like they were getting in each other's way enough.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, maybe I'm nitpicking, but I didn't feel they've got a great chemistry. We know that, but they can have great matches. But I feel like it felt rushed, and I feel like, unfortunately for Sammy, I suppose this ended up being a stepping stone match to get Owens to Orton.
yeah. I don't know what Sammy's gonna be doing. at Mania.
I think I've put him in a multi-man ladder
Yeah.
match, I think.
Like,
Yeah.
but that's the thing is that it's like you've used this to get to something else when this is enough.
Yeah.
This rivalry is enough. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? So rather than being like, okay, well, we're gonna have this match, and as well, he'd already like Kevin already explained to Sammy why he essentially turned heel,
Yeah.
why he didn't like Cody, and he was like, and he understands why you've done what you've done because it's different. Like
Hmm.
he'd already explained that. And it's like, well, okay, you're doing your thing and I'm going to do mine. They didn't need to cross over. They're on different shows.
Yeah.
They could have just left it to be like, what are you doing? And he's like, look, I'm doing what I need to do, blah, blah, blah. Like, stay out of my way. Like, and Sammy just be like, uh, yeah, all right, sounds like I've got my own shit going on. But yeah, to get to this point, for this to end in one match and be done, just seems a little bit shit. Do you know what I mean?
Because the whole thing, because I was thinking about leading up to it, if Orton hadn't come back at the end of this match, I was still on the assumption that they would then have just done Kevin and Sammy again at Mania because I'm sure there was like a Hell in a Cell thing knocking around at one point.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
But then as soon as Orton has come back, it's because I feel like what could have happened then is like Orton could have come back either at the closure of that match at Mania
Mm.
and done what he did here, or be a night after Mania surprise type thing.
Yeah.
But it was only ever going to go one of two ways. It's like if this is the one where it's like we're bringing Orton back now, that's when you know that that's the match that Kevin's having at Mania.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's likely just going to be another Sammy match at that point.
Mm.
Um,
They could have done it where I say this all the time, and I feel like this is like a thing that's like proper lost, and I feel like this is more so than Nikki Bella being the greatest divas champ. I feel like I die on this hill more than anything else. But like the idea of like a number one contendership match
yeah.
would be really interesting to be like you're just not having another match, blah blah blah, whatever, and then it's like okay, well you just both want to be champ, all right,
Hmm.
and then you could do it that way. But then they're on different shows, so it wouldn't really work that way, I suppose. But
It
it's
could
one
just
of
be a
them where,
sort of like you're entitled to a title
yeah,
match
like
against, you know. Um,
to do it that way could have been quite interesting to be like, well, you both want to be number one contender, but you want to be number one contender for different titles. So having that
because I
match,
suppose actually it adds a little bit more blood to the feud in that like you could have played off the fact that Kevin's not been world champion since 2017
yeah,
and Sammy's never been world champion.
yeah, yeah.
So it's like, is it that Kevin is getting in the way of his best friend finally becoming world champion, or is it that Sammy's getting in the way of Kevin finally reclaiming that glory? You know, there's a bigger thing there, isn't there?
Yeah, because then, and even you can play into the idea of like Kev being like, I only need one more shot at Cody, like because obviously he still thinks Cody's going to be the champ or whatever. So he's like, still need one more shot, and Sammy's like, well, I've already beat Gunther,
Yeah.
so I know I can be world champ because I've already beat the champ.
Hmm.
So as of right now, me like dealing with you is getting in the way.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like we end this, and then you get Adam Pearce being like, well, what we're going to do is like, or yeah, me and Nick Aldis have got together,
You're
and
both
it's just
staking a claim.
yeah, yeah, and it's interesting because it's like, well, it's a number one contender, but it's not for the same title.
Hmm.
So it's like if Sammy wins,
He
he
gets a
gets
shot at Gunther.
yeah, yeah, or whatever,
Hmm.
and then the other way around. Because I wouldn't mind Kev versus Cena if that happened.
No, 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 yeah. I
I
mean, that
wouldn't, you know.
throws that back, doesn't it? Because it's
Yeah, yeah.
been 10 years since Elimination Chamber where they faced each other.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it all, I don't know, like they're going I suppose they're going the right way and they know what to do, but these different ways you can go and different avenues you can play with. I
Hmm.
just feel like this is a bit shit on Sammy.
Yeah, because I feel like he does feel. I mean, as much as I was sort of touting him as being the most overrated at the end of the year and all that kind of stuff. Like, he does feel a bit rudderless
Yeah,
towards this year's Mania season.
yeah, I think that's the thing. It's
Yeah,
going to be a lot. But
and it's like he's either going to end up in a multi-man ladder match for a mid-card title
yeah,
or the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
yeah, which is shit. I don't even know if they'll have an Andre the Giant Battle Royal, let's be honest.
Well, I've ended up putting it on an actual night at Mania.
All right, okay. I don't
But
know. I don't know if
too
like
many
just
people that I feel like are going to get left out of the card otherwise.
well, yeah. But I feel like the whole year has been like you've got to earn your spot on a title match on a title match,
Yeah,
on a
yeah, yeah.
PLE. And I
Hmm.
know Mania is different, but I feel like even WWE and creative and that know that the Andre the Giant Battle Royal doesn't really mean nothing.
No.
So unless they change it up to mean something,
Well, I
like
think the one thing that always gets floated around on Reddit is that whoever it is that wins it gets a mid-card title shot on night two, for example.
yeah,
No, so like it's like you know that Shinsuke is going to defend the US title, but he's going to defend it against whoever won the Andre the Giant Battle
yeah,
Royal the
that
night
would make
before.
sense.
You know, because that's a bear thing in it, you know,
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than just
What
being
they
a
need to do is rather than having okay, so this is me like being like spitballing and hoping for the best. But if they're gonna have the match and they're gonna have the battle royal and whatever it is, they need to bail that stupid massive trophy that looks polystyrene.
yeah,
I mean, it isn't even shiny. Like you can tell it's like made of plastic or wood or some shit. Like
yeah,
it's a piece of crap.
bronze
Like
Andre, yeah,
yeah, and it's massive, and you can't do anything with it unless you're
mhm,
Bobby Lashley, who's like still struggling with it coming
yeah,
out. So fuck that off, right? First of all, and then change the actual trophy to a big, like life size gold hand of Andre,
hmm,
so you can carry it just
yeah,
like there's his hand, and he's like this, and it says Andre the Giant on his hand, or like a little signature,
yeah.
whatever little thing. I don't know, but it's something you can carry. It's an action. It's the
Think
size of
it,
his
yeah,
actual
yeah,
hand. Know what I mean? Because he's a fucking giant. So
hmm,
you do that, and then you like when you win it, you win a mid card title,
yeah,
title match for like whatever title it is that
hmm,
you're going against or whatever. It doesn't have to be at WrestleMania, but it can be at like a Backlash or it can be a whatever. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You get to choose, and then it means something. It's not a big massive piece of shit that doesn't make any sense.
yeah,
Like with loads of people's names on who aren't even in the company anymore, and then it's a tangible thing where it's like you can walk around with this
yeah.
and be like. I am like not cashing it in, but I am doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I've got a vested interest in this thing. Yeah,
Yes. Even if they're in the middle of a rivalry, you can be like, oh, by the way, at the next pay-per-view, you're facing me. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And then that's what they need to do.
hmm,
A big thing off. It's like the G1 trophy. Have you seen the
yeah,
G1 trophy that like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like a wing in it?
Hmm.
Like that one. It's like it's cool, it's like dead nice, it's kinda like clever. Like
Yeah.
that's what you need. A big Andre the Giant hand.
Just do like what they do on Taskmaster and have like Andre the Giant's head
Yeah, just like
on a stick.
it's just said that'll be as big as the trophy. But but yeah, that's what I think they need, a big Andre hand. That's my
Yeah, yeah,
that happens. We know Triple H is watching, just
yeah.
say
Again,
again. But yeah,
again.
make it like something. It's like I
Hmm.
say that with everything. If you've got a gimmick with anything, it should be something.
You need an incentive to win it. You need an
Yeah.
incentive to want to win the pissing thing.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I've got my name next to Baron Corbin. Who? Oh, no one. Doesn't matter.
Mojo Rawley.
Yeah.
Like
Mojo Rawley. Bobby Lashley as well. He's got
Bobby
it all
Lashley.
on.
Jay
That's what it
Uso.
is.
Like,
Yeah. It's like, I know what you get. So if you win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal within the next 12 months, you won't work here. All right. There you go. That's what you're getting.
P45 coming your way.
Yeah. Jesus. I gave Sammy and KO, I'm gonna say 3.5.
I went 4 purely because I think of the near fall thing that hurt me slightly.
Okay. Well, so you're doing four. Callum did obviously 4.5.
He's a generous sod.
He loves them, doesn't he? And what did
Yeah.
I say?
You said
3.5.
3.5.
Yeah. And then you've got the men's.
Yeah. Well, because
Men.
like obviously at the end of that one, Orton did come back and they've teased the punt, which I think straight away is that's how the Mania match is ending.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that.
Kevin's being punted in the head.
I was so excited to see a punt
Hmm.
um, that I ended up showing Rach and Punk kicking Vince because that's the best Punk kick I have ever
Yeah,
seen in my life. Vince must have been like either he's gone, just fucking kick me. Like
yeah.
if you're gonna do it, or he's gone. I've got a chance to kick Vince in the head here. I'm just gonna kick him in
I'm
the
gonna
head.
take it.
Yeah, and he absolutely volleys him in the
He had
head.
it.
Like
Absolutely had it.
yeah, like he was. After that, Vince was like, shit. Oh God.
Vince was like, "Can we get some sort of concussion protocol around here?
Yeah. Where's Kestowinski? Where's he?
When
Yeah.
did we fire him?
Yeah.
7 years ago, Vince. What?"
But have you noticed that Orton never gets a retain on his own? Someone else always comes back with him.
He's just been overshadowed, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's
The
like
poor sod.
he's
Like,
gone back and been like Jade today. He's like, give me 5 minutes. Give me a minute, let me do my
it's
thing.
not even the Jade thing, it's the Cena thing afterwards.
Yeah, something big
Yeah.
always happens, yeah. Um so yeah, I obviously we're looking at KO and Orton at Mania, I would assume.
Yeah.
I I would guess. I know we've mentioned it before, but like people being like shoehorned into a thing. When Sammy's not going to be in that match, is he? We're not going
I
to.
doubt it. Like,
Oh,
at
yeah,
what point does it make sense for Sammy to be in there for a triple threat? Because he's got nothing with Orton, has he?
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know.
So, but like, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of them. You never know how they work it, I suppose.
Mm.
But yeah, it only takes, I suppose, Sammy to get in the way of Orton. But then I don't think Orton would be like, "What are you doing battling him? I want to battle him." And then they
Yeah.
it doesn't make no
Because
sense.
then it's not even like you could see Sammy diving in front of Orton trying to punt Owens because it's like, well, everything that he's just done to him.
Yeah, like why are you trying to protect? Yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what's happening. So men's elimination chamber.
Hmm.
Some big names here. Big names.
Beefy, 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 beefy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then Logan Paul as well. Yeah.
And then Logan Paul, yeah. And then
Logan.
to be fair as well, some big sort of storyline moves towards Mania as well.
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
Um, because I think the one interesting thing that happened was there was a late report in the week that they were convinced, or they were thinking of doing like a surprise chamber winner, and
Right.
that it might be Drew, and that Drew ends up being the heel corporate champion for The Rock, because people
Ah.
think like, oh, he could fit into that, he could figure that out.
Mm.
But then WWE's response to that is Drew's the first one that gets eliminated,
Yeah.
which
Right. Yeah.
people are sort of looking and reading between the lines and sort of going, has that been done on purpose? Like, is that a purposeful thing?
I think the
Uh,
way he went out as well was interesting because he was like, it wasn't like he was beat down or anything.
yeah,
Like,
just quick roll up.
yeah, he was, and then he was like, "What?"
We're definitely getting him in Priest.
Yeah, I think that's where we're going. Yeah,
I'm glad though. I'm glad that we've sort of stuck to that.
yeah.
You know.
Uh, I like that a few weeks ago on SmackDown. Him and LA Knight like poked fun at the fact that he was pissed off with him
Yeah.
and stuff, and he moved away from that because I think as much as LA Knight is LA Knight, I think Drew deserves bigger
Hmm.
than LA Knight feud. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Drew and Priest just seems like it would be a banger.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Well, I mean, go back to Clash. They had a banger then.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Just maybe don't do that springboard thing because you'll get your foot stuck in the rope again, don't you? Like,
yeah.
let's not do that.
It ends up upside down, like what? But yeah, I forgot that match happened actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that was this match. Yeah, I think it's not. I can understand them being a bit annoyed that he's not like in a more dominant feud. I a few weeks ago I was thinking it would have been Drew and Reigns, to be honest with you.
Okay.
That seemed like but that was before the Rumble.
Yeah.
I was like, that seems like a, a
Yeah. Yeah.
really
Yeah.
good event. Because obviously he's got a thing with the bloodline and all stuff like that. Um, but clearly not. Clearly that's not what.
No.
So, but yeah, Priest is alright. No man.
Because then I was thinking like going back to if Cena was a face and ended up beating Cody and all that kind of stuff. I could have seen Drew dethroning Cena at like a SummerSlam.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I think it's going to come. I think that the sort of him having a reign in front of fans, like
Yeah,
not just a title win, because obviously he got his title win in front of fans last year, but then Priest cashed in, which at that point, again, that's where the story comes from. That's where you can sort of go back to it all.
yeah.
But I do think he's going to have a reign in front of fans at some point. I don't think it's going to be something that just doesn't happen at all.
No.
But I think for the time being, the story of the title and the brand that he's on is seen as last year
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah,
whole Cody thing. So you just not. I think he just needs to wait his turn,
yeah.
and it'll
Someone's
come.
saying that he can't, like, even like you've got Cena and Drew could be a good, like it works because he was around back in the day. Do you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean? And he was like, he could be like I was held down when you were here last time. Like I was held down when I was the chosen one because it was Cena's show. It's not happening again. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's like I don't care if it's last year, gutted for you, but
yeah,
here we are. So yeah, yeah, him going out first just kind of adds fuel to the fire. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? But yeah, I think everybody had a good showing. Like, I
hmm
don't think there was anybody who I was like, that really didn't work. Like, that's not why you eat. I mean, Logan
I
Paul,
was.
the only one who I'm a bit like,
I mean, there was a bit of a minute where I was generally concerned about Priest after he took the frog splash off the pod from Logan Paul because it didn't look like
yes,
Logan Paul braced. In the same way that like when you see people do it, they tend to put most of the weight on the knees, don't they, when they land?
yeah, yeah,
It looked like he got most of the weight on Priest's
yeah,
ribs, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. I did notice that actually.
Yeah.
I think that's just from being a bit green in it. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, like my straight thing there was like, as he generally just winded Damian Priest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But at least it's not a knee from RVD in the throat like Triple H
That
got.
is true, yeah. And
Yeah.
then you're fighting for your life because you can't
Yeah.
make is that. But yeah, I think as I say, right at the start, the Priest and Cena, the Cena and Punk thing,
hmm
where they like hugged, I was like, that just made me heart happy. I'll be honest with you, that just took me back to. Well, I was watching it with Rach, and she was like, "Ah, does that take you back to your childhood?" And I was like, "Kind of." I was about 27 when it happened.
20, yeah, I was 21 when it happened. Like, he was a child, is he?
It's like I was
Christ.
fine, but it was nice. You know what I mean?
It takes you that earlier moment in your manhood.
Oh, is that nice from when you didn't have kids and that? Was that nice?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, that's just made my day.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Reigns going out, not Reigns, Roman, Rollins going out.
hmm
And then with the stomp and the Cena doing his thing. What was interesting was still up until that point, Cena made absolutely no reference that he was planning what he was planning because he shouted, "I'm sorry" to CM Punk as he choked
Yeah.
him. Like at no point was you ever thinking, "All right, this
They've
is."
seen us turn Neil. No chance.
No, he was just like all happy and smiles and yay and all that. I thought it was strange when he won and he stayed in the ring for the whole thing. I was like, all right, this is
What's going on here?
so I'd only seen literally one thing, right? So I was in work on the Sunday, swerved Twitter, swerved everything, like swerved Instagram and all that stuff. I was on a website I frequent quite a lot, which is comicbookmovies.com. Because I like the headlines of comic book movies, you know what I mean? See what's going on, see what's new, see what's happening. All that stuff, a little bit of Daredevil news in my life, you know what I mean?
Eh?
And for some reason, one of the articles they had on the main page was um, something about John Cena. And the only thing, I've scrolled down a little bit and seen Cena's face. I didn't see the article or anything. I didn't see the headline. I just seen a bit of his face, and it was his sad face, is like that.
Oh,
That's
from the hug.
no, no, from when he did everything and he was standing there with the title. It kind of zoomed in on his face.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing I'd actually seen from the whole
Yeah.
night before I watched it. And I was like, shit. Like, and from that picture, I was like, he's definitely turned heel. Like, he's like,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, fuck. Like, how are they even like, wow, oh God, how are they even gonna do this? Like, I don't
Mm.
even, what? And then, yeah, so then when I watched it, I was kind of like, I was a little bit annoyed that I'd seen that picture. If I hadn't, I'd be like, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, my own fault, but not so much because you wouldn't expect to see something like that. It's a bit of a, you know
Well,
what I
no,
mean?
this is the thing. Like, I mean, I'm so I'm actually excited for when he comes back up on TV because I want to see the presentation. I want to see, like with Rock coming back and doing the final boss stuff last year. It was like we'd already seen Hollywood Rock at that point, so we knew how
Yeah.
it was going to look a little bit.
Yeah,
Whereas this is totally new. This is a whole new, and it's quite rare that you get a new
yeah.
thing.
But he mentioned not so long ago talking to
The Chris Van Vliet thing.
Chris Van Via, and he was like, if I was gonna do it, I'd already had the music, and I was gonna come in like a low singlet and like boxing boots and like a robe and that, and like
Mhm.
I've heard that he's coming back and he's shaving his head, like just to kind of like just be. I mean, I always thought if he was gonna come back anyway and do this year, he should bring back his buzz cut. Know what I mean?
Yeah,
Buzz
yeah,
cut Cena. Um, and that would emphasize the fact that he's bald a lot less.
yeah,
Know what I mean? But apparently he's gonna like. I mean, it's all hearsay in it. Do you know what I mean? Like anyone
yeah.
could say anything and it turns into something. So yeah, I've heard rumors that it's like oh, he's like he's going all in. He's gonna shave his head. He's gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
Um, where that he said himself that's what he'd do. He's got new music and that. Um, so.
Well, this is the difference of it, isn't it? Like, if we were still under Vince, no way would Vince like jeopardize the merchandising revenue of making a brightly colored t-shirt in every city that they go to.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
You
even he
know?
said that. Even when Cena was talking about it, he was like, "This it'd sting, but I wouldn't release any t-shirts. Like I wouldn't have any merch."
Yeah.
I think the difference with this to a regular heel turn is that he could still come out and be like, "I haven't turned my back on yous. Like I haven't turned heel in the sense that like I'm a bad guy. I'm
Mm.
not. I'm just doing what's best for business."
Yeah.
And what's best for business and best for WrestleMania is for me to be the champ. And unfortunately, Cody's the champ.
God is
So
just in the way.
yeah. So if it was anybody else, I haven't got an issue with Cody. I've got
Mm.
an issue with the fact that he's holding the title.
Yeah.
Like I'm still saying don't give up because I'm not giving up. Like I'm not giving up on my dream of being like 17 because that's what needs to be done this year. Do you know what I mean? So that's what's different because you'd always say like sort of when you're a heel, you've got to kind of like you've got to have a belief system in the sense that
Mhm.
you can't just be like, oh yeah, I hate this guy because I hate this guy. Like
Yeah.
it's got to make sense. Like Kevin Owens, it makes it what he's saying. Like I hate Cody because of everything that Roman did to me, and I fought the bloodline for this long, and you were just his tag team partner, and you're meant to still be my mate. Like that doesn't sit well with me. Like you chose him over me.
Mhm.
Like that's kind of the thought process. So he's like in his own head, he's not a heel.
Yeah.
Cena could essentially come out and be like, "You booing me is on you.
Mm.
Like it's nothing to do with me. Like I'm only doing what is best."
It's like it's the thing that they always say about villains in Hollywood is that the best villain is somebody who you can actually understand, and the point that they make is actually a decent point, and that you can sort of get on board. You can see where they're coming from,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
like a Thanos.
yeah,
Like that, the whole idea with Thanos being, yeah, I want to wipe out half the population, but that's because our resources are finite and we're using too much. It's got out of hand, and
yeah,
like part of you sort of goes, that makes perfect sense.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
actually, for
yeah,
someone to come along and just go, yeah, half of you lot are dying,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's fundamentally it's a negative thing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's one of them where it's like, eh, yeah, that's the idea. There's so many
Yeah.
villains, I suppose, in Hollywood that you sort of like. That's not what their MO is. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? And that's not, and you're not meant to understand. Like you're meant to be like, no, you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like you just want to burn shit. Like the Joker, you just
So
want
much
to,
well, Ben.
yeah, 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 You just like that's all you want to do. But damn, like you've said a lot. It's fun. Um, sorry.
For
Uh,
audio listeners, that was the dog.
yeah, that was the dog. That was Belle.
There
If you want to see her, she's on YouTube.
you
Uh,
go.
so yeah, I think that's the thing where I think that's the way he's gonna go. Where it's like he's he hasn't done anything bad,
Yeah.
just done what he's done. Do you know what I mean? I think beating down Cody was like a big thing, and siding with the Rock was a big thing. Cody getting busted open the hard way
Hmm.
was very interesting. Like
Yeah.
that was a bit mad. Um,
Him having
Col
his eardrum burst by
yeah,
Travis Scott.
yeah. He proper whacked him, didn't he?
I
Like,
know, yeah, yeah.
like
Black eye apparently he's got.
proper whacked him, yeah. But I think Cody's one of them people who's just like, "Just do it. Like
Yeah,
it's sounds.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
recover. Just go. Just do
yeah.
it." Cole's reaction
Hmm.
was like, "Shit," like
Yeah,
because he's thingy, and then Pat McAfee being like, "This is your guy. This is your sorry guy. What are you
yeah,
doing?"
yeah.
Like, I think the whole thing was just like masterfully done.
Hmm.
I'll be honest. Like,
Yeah.
um,
It's it's such a surprise. I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. Um, yeah, like it's again, it's generally one of them things where I'm like, I can't wait to see how this pans out. I can't wait to see where we go with this.
yeah,
And it was also at the end of this where I was like, oh, this should have been in Manchester or Birmingham, shouldn't it? The absolute bastard.
imagine.
Can you imagine? I mean,
Imagine.
I don't think it would have actually happened if it was in Manchester or
No,
Birmingham. You
no.
know?
But yeah, I always wonder how far out they're like, yeah, we know we're doing this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure I've heard something this week where it was like apparently Cena's been on board with this since like November. But
Yeah.
the way that I see it, and again, maybe this is me being cynical, I just feel like The Rock's had a gap in his schedule and only just come into it and decided to,
Yes.
and things got moved around. But whether it is that actually this has been the plan all along, because then people have been going all the way back to Bad Blood and saying that the reason why The Rock did the three thing is because that's seen as hand gesture.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then I don't know if that's just,
No, but then that's the thing as well, though, because I was going to mention that because when he did the chamber, he only did two.
yeah,
So the idea now, people are like, lose the third. So he's like three. It's going to be three, two, one.
yeah. So what's the last one?
So I'm three, seen as two,
It's two.
two's one. Do you know what I mean?
Is the one Cena becoming champion? I don't.
I don't know. That's the thing. So, or
Alistair Black.
they're gonna, yeah. Oh, that's the black. They're gonna have somebody else who's like thrown in the mix. I don't know. But who
I
would you
don't know.
put in? Who would you do that? Like, do you know what I mean? Doesn't make. I don't know. Like,
As like an actual main event mafia.
yeah. Like it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It
Austin
boggles
comes
the mind.
back
Like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? The only thing that like possibly Triple H would be like the other person to like bring into it.
as being a bit of an on-screen character for a little bit and being
Yeah,
heel.
just leading into just to be like, oh yeah, I'm doing, and then he just pops up.
Well, because I suppose we know that The Rock and Cena aren't going to be there every week. I think Cena's going to be there a little bit more than The Rock is. But
Yeah,
then at that point, if you need someone who is a an on-screen character as a heel to carry it over, I
yeah,
suppose at that point the Triple H would make sense, wouldn't it?
that's what I mean. Yeah, so I don't know, but then would he want to? I don't know. It's just a
Does he want to be a
everyone's picking apart everything, aren't they? Do you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like,
Because we're
so
all waiting to see what's going to happen next.
yeah, and I don't necessarily think that he's like sided with the Rock, like the Rock's his boss, and the Rock's
Mm.
like pulling the strings. I think he's just been. That's what he's going to come out and say. Like, it's
Yeah,
best for business. It's nothing to do with like
yeah, yeah.
me. It needs to be done because I need 17. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then
The
um
first telling point is going to be what happens on SmackDown tomorrow, as we
yes.
record this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That will be very intriguing to say
Hmm.
the least. Um what would you give the chamber?
4.5.
Well, I also would give it 4.5. I can't remember what Callum gave it. I'm gonna
I
stuff.
think Callum gave it 4.5 as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, 4.5. And then
He said he gave the scene a heel turn five.
he gives Cena Heels it. We don't do segments, but I would say 5 out of 5 if
Oh
we
yeah,
did
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
If we were doing segments of the year in the end of the year awards, which I think we might have to,
yeah.
this will be number one.
Well, I mean, this would be shock of the year. This would be straight
Oh,
in.
shock of the year. Yeah,
Yeah,
obviously,
yeah,
yeah. But
yeah.
yeah. Overall, some high ratings here, you know.
Really good show, yeah. I think overall I'd probably say four.
I would say 4. I would assume Callum would say 4 too.
Yeah.
Actually, three of Callum's matches are 4.5.
Well, I mean, you'd have to go 4.5
Yeah,
then,
just go
surely, wouldn't he?
4.5, yeah. So that.
But PLE,
Jesus.
PLE of the year, straight
You,
in there.
it's up there, yeah. It's up there, isn't it? Fuck me. Jesus. So before we get into a bit of mania things, I just want to like touch on one thing that
Mhm.
is happening on Raw at the minute. And people are talking about it being very Lucha Underground.
Yeah, yeah,
Have you seen
yeah,
this?
yeah.
I am a huge Lucha Underground fan. Like, love it to death. Like, I found the because I said to you I had it, if you
Hmm.
remember, and I was going to put it up on a mega for you or something like that.
Yeah,
And the first season's like 68 gig or something like that of the file, so I was just like,
right.
I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I have to do a 4 at a time or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But anyway, so I was like, when people are talking about it, it's like, oh, this would be so good. Like, it's not going to happen. They're not going to have anything to do with it, but
no.
like the idea like of what's in the box and all this stuff and like where's your head going with this? Like what do you think?
I've put on my night two, right? You know, everybody gets a payday.
Everybody, yeah.
I've got a 10-man tag on night two,
Wow.
which links all this in and sort of loops all this in,
Okay.
with one person specifically being on one of the teams that I think is going to be the sort of reveal to this.
Okay.
But then the news this week of Phoenix apparently being given his release from AEW, and
Yes.
people assuming, do you then crowbar it in so that he somehow manages to fit into this?
Yeah.
Is interesting.
Mm.
But I think surely if you're going down the route of we know where we're going, we know what the plan is, we know what the end point is,
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's an Aleister Black thing.
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah,
You would think so. But then what's Dom got to do with passing him the thing? Because is he just the closest thing to a bad lucha?
I would imagine so. Yeah,
So he's like, I know bad luchas. There you go.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Weird.
It
But
is a strange one.
I
Yeah.
just wondered what you thought. I just wanted your take on it, to be honest with you. Right. So, we know we're getting Cena. Um,
Well, I've split it into nights.
okay, go on then.
So like my night one.
Yeah,
If I do the ones that are already confirmed first. So the
yeah.
ones that are already confirmed are so I've put Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair on night one,
Okay,
and Gunther versus Jey Uso on night one.
okay.
And admittedly, that irked me because I was then torn between,
Do
do
you
I
think
want
Gunther's
both?
losing, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, do I want both Rumble winners on the same night, or do I want the two men's and women's world champions from the same brand on the same night? So I've ended up basically splitting it brand
Ah,
wise.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Um, so I've done them, and then I've got purely because I see it happening, and I see WWE going for the sort of feel good thing. United States Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jimmy Uso.
Yes, I think this too.
So then on that night, you have both Usos in the
Yeah,
ring together with titles,
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, a la Eddie Benoit.
Yes,
Yeah.
I feel this is the way forward. Even if they do it with more people, so they do like Shin, Jimmy, like LA Knight.
This is the thing. There's more people you could throw in because I've ended up putting people in this battle royal.
Yeah,
But again, they could come out and they could be in the match, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, World Tag Team titles, I've done War Raiders versus New Day
Okay.
as a sort of straight, just two team thing.
Yeah, I do like the New Day.
Yeah.
Who knew that you could turn heel and all you have to do is shave your mustache off and Kofi looks so much more like a heel.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Weird that.
yeah.
Shave your tash off and he's like, wow, you're a proper heel, you.
But again,
Weird.
like, who's next? Rey Mysterio. Like, all these career faces are all turning heel. Like, what's going on?
You know what though, right? Mentioning Ray.
Yeah.
Surely he's the longest running face. Or does it not count because he hasn't been in the company?
Well, I thought about this. Like, surely he's the only one who, throughout all of his WWE career, I can think of has just been a face.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
But does he not count because he left the company and he's come back to the
See,
company?
but then even if you amalgamated the two, surely it's.
Well, yeah, it was 2002 he
Well,
joined.
yeah.
And so that's essentially longer than Cena.
Yeah.
From 2002 to now, he's been a face.
Yeah.
Granted, had a chunk in the middle where he wasn't in the company.
Mm.
But I suppose that's because there hasn't been a point where Cena isn't under contract.
No, but then Cena was heel up until 2003, late 2003. Yeah.
November 2003, I think it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know that off the top of my head. I've read that somewhere recently.
No, I
But
remember him. He was on the shit. Broke my
yo,
chair.
you're
Um,
all right.
yeah. It was on the face team at Survivor Series 2003.
Yes, so it was November-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you broke your chair?
Yeah, I've generally just broke the arm of my chair. I think I just
Oh, hey.
lean up
Oh,
a bit.
no.
Like,
Need a new chair.
I need a new chair. I mean, it's had a good innings. It's been here since COVID.
Oh, hey.
Oh, there's the arm of my
Oh, no,
chair.
he's got no arm. See that?
Are
Get that back on. Surely.
you joking?
Oh, no, all right, fair play. I thought it was just coming apart.
No,
Um,
no, it's generally
I
just
thought it was like just screws that you could just screw it in again.
no, no, it's generally just stopped.
Oh, hey.
Oh, would
You
you?
don't
Yeah.
need that. You got to lean to one side now. It's like,
I
yeah, yeah,
know. I'll just
yeah.
there's my arm in the chair.
All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Right, hang on. I'm gonna have to just send a message downstairs and say yes, come upstairs because it sounds like all chaos is kicking off.
right, okay.
So if we get kids on for the end of it,
It's all right. Well,
um,
we're only talking about the predictions.
no, this is it. Yeah.
So, well, right. So, right, we'll fast forward a little bit. So, what are your matches that you think's going to happen that haven't been announced?
So you got Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and CM Punk, which I feel like is
Yes, I
yeah.
totally agree. Yes,
Um, Bloodline Rules, Jacob Fatu versus Sosa Sikoa.
interesting. Yes,
Yeah. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. So then at this point, there were names, the bigger names that I've thrown in that haven't appeared anywhere else. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Pete Dunne, Ludwig Kaiser, R-Truth, The Miz, Andrade, Braun Strowman, Tama Tonga.
yeah, yeah.
Um, because then your women's tag team. So I've done a women's tag team championship turmoil. So 6 teams in this, and
Okay,
again, possibly shoehorned in.
yeah.
Liv and Raquel,
Obviously.
Meechin and BFAB,
Okay,
Chelsea and Piper,
yeah.
Nia and Candice,
Okay,
and then mm, right to get her on the card because she's only just come back. Alexa Bliss,
right.
but with Nikki Cross.
Okay. What?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Actually, yeah. I see what you're saying because you're gonna
The
get a.
White Six thing and blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah.
Sorry. Yeah, I was like, that
Um,
doesn't make any sense, but yeah, it does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And then the real sort of shoehorned in just because I feel like they both need to get on the card. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria.
Okay, that is bad.
Yeah.
That is okay. Do you think the IC title's going to be a ladder match?
The men's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's. I think that's going to be where Finn turns face. And
Yeah.
yeah, Finn turns face, and that's kind of like he's out of the
The
Judgment
Judgment
Day
Day. Yeah.
because and I think Dom's going to be in the match.
So I've not got Dom in that match,
Right. Okay.
but I can definitely make a case for him to be in there
Yeah.
because actually, right, the night two then. So the ones that I think are obvious. So you got Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest,
Yeah.
Kevin Owens, Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I've done Rhea, Io, and Bianca,
Yeah.
and then Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
Yes.
So then the others that are sort of around. So your Intercontinental title match, Bron Breakker, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Sami Zayn, Sheamus, and Logan Paul.
Yes.
But the other thing that keeps getting teased is whether they do an AJ Logan Paul one-on-one.
I was thinking that, but I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah. So then
Because
at that point, I think,
that seems a bit forced to me.
but I feel like if they come out of the ladder match,
Yeah,
that then makes room for Dom to go in and possibly somebody else to go in.
yeah.
Because then my 10-man tag that I mentioned before, and again, this was purely because there were a lot of names floating around that I wanted to kind of fit in, but then
Mm.
every time I lost a name, it just didn't work. So I had Rey Mysterio, Penta, Dragon Lee, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. Because then at that point you've got all of LWO and
Yeah,
Penta
yeah, yeah.
against Chad Gable, Brutus Creed, Julius Creed, Dominic Mysterio, and Aleister Black. Because
Right.
you're keeping Dom in that storyline.
Yeah,
But there's no reason why it couldn't be just be like Ray and Penta versus Chad and Aleister Black,
yeah,
you know. But then I think there's that weird thing of I really wanted to not put Ray and Dominic together because all of the Mania matches so far of Dom's have
yeah. They've
been
always been connected. Yeah.
Ray's. Yeah,
Do you think Chad Gable and Aleister Black are going to be like aligned?
that's the way that I'd imagine it going. Because if he's gone to him for help,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know. I thought Aleister Black would come back as a face
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
because they'd want that pop. But
yeah.
I am going to say I think Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio are all going to be in the IC title match,
hmm
and Dom is going to cost Finn the title and
So
win it.
Dom's gonna win it.
Yeah, I think it's time for Dom to have a title.
Yeah,
I
because
really,
obviously he had the North American, didn't he?
yeah,
But
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah,
But
um,
yeah,
and then there'd be a sort of post match, or even a Raw after Mania thing where they
yeah,
do
yeah,
a Dom's title celebration and Finn comes out and
yeah.
yeah,
Well, even if he like titles celebrates and does a thing, and he's like, "Here's the newest member of Judgment Day," and Finn's like, "Nah,
yeah,
like I'm not having this. You've
yeah,
done this, you've done that," and then they go into a feud together for the IC title.
yeah.
I would really like that. I think.
And then the last one I've got is the WWE Tag Team titles, which I've not put ladders on as well because you need ladders in the IC. But I feel like it has to be at least a five-way because you've got
Yes.
DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, Street Profits, Los Garza, all in each other's business at that point.
Yes.
But then purely because I think I'd put six teams in the women's one on the night one, I was like, well, I'm just going to put another team in this one, Fraxium.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, the way things are going, Fraxium and the Hardys are going to be there.
Yeah,
Where
there you
we're
go.
looking. Know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like Hardys is all over the place.
yeah.
They're like they've Trojan horsed themselves into the WWE. There,
Oh, it's coming.
I'm
They're coming
telling
back.
you.
This is it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're like, yeah, yeah, we're all good here. You know, what's that? We're
Yeah.
all good. Yeah, yeah. What, will you
We're
want us to
back.
work me?
We
Yeah.
never left. Don't know
All
what you're
right,
talking
what's
about.
going on? Yeah,
Yeah.
defo, like it's happening. Um, but there you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's our bits. Anything else we need to add?
Um, no, just we're looking at rejigging things on our end, aren't we? So
Yes.
yeah.
New episodes are going to be Friday now.
hmm
Friday on YouTube. Friday's the day. Friday's the day.
Friday's the day.
We're recording on a different day, which is always interesting and fun, and I think it's going to work out very well.
hmm
Um, so we'll see how it works. But yeah, we're going to be like more on the ball. I feel like, you know what I mean, with stuff. So let's hope. And yeah, we're doing good. We're hoping to grow and all that stuff. So if you listen, or you've just listened once, or you've just seen a little clip of us or whatever, um, search for us and see where we are and listen to a bit more and see if you like it. And if you don't, let us know. And if you do, let us know. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Stay safe, stay entertained. Bye.
I pressed it too early then at that point.
No, it's fine. Keep going. It's all good. You do it.
You know.
All right.